नमस्कार। अल्बर्ट पिंटो को पीटर नवारो को गुस्सा क्यों आता है? To talk about this, we have Col Mayank Chaubey. This is going to be a fun-filled conversation because this is something that I think he did not expect, the kind of pushback that he has got over social media for his remarks about India, Brahmins. Why do they have to always bring in Brahmins? That tells you a certain sense of desperation. I think India has figured him out and they have sorted him out and he is getting his knickers in a twist. Let's welcome our guest and let's see what he has to say about it, because he's sitting in India. He has a ringside view of what's going on. Colonel Chaubey Saab, namaskar and welcome to PGurus channel. How are you?
Namaskar, Sree ji. I'm very well, fine, thank you. How are you doing?
I'm doing very well, keeping busy. As a matter of fact, viewers, if you have not already seen it, there's a video I put out in the morning. Why is everybody suddenly hating Indians? And take a look at that. It's a cap of 40-50 years of living in the United States. What has happened to the general standard of living, and why US is sold on cheap labor, cheap goods from China, cheap labor from India. Not very different whether it's China or India. So this is what I said. Do take a look at that one. It's doing very well and it gives you a perspective of where all this push and pull is coming from. Over to you, sir. You've just written an article on this. I hope we have I'm looking forward to a fun-filled conversation. Over to you.
So, Sree Iyer ji, as the title says, कि Peter Navarro को गुस्सा क्यों आता है? So, Peter Navarro thought that there was a very famous movie, Guns of Navarro,
yes,
if you recollect. So, इनका नाम जो है, it rhymes with that movie. So,
right.
But then he cannot be attributed to something as pious as a gun. So in India, you have a word which you add D after the end. So it becomes Gandh of Navarro. So Gandh means the dirt. And
Yes.
Sree Iyer ji, believe me, this is the new India. New India does not get cowed down by all these statements. And that pushback that you made a mention of, it has been really, really very, very strong. Even I didn't expect such type of reaction, where people have tagged not only Mr. Navarro, but President Trump as well. And whatever they had to write, all guns blazing, they were after both these figures. Because Mr. Trump had gone to the extent of saying that he was a person instrumental behind the ceasefire, so-called ceasefire between India and Pakistan, which none of the Indians could really understand, that why was this gentleman trying to take the credit when everything was there very clear in front of everybody, that it was the handiwork of both the DGMOs of India and Pakistan, who decided that they should temporarily call off the hostilities. They should stop firing. I won't say ceasefire, but it was an arrangement. So the thing was brewing in Indians' minds, and finally, the last straw came when Mr. Navarro came out and he said that because of the Russian oil and as you made a mention, that the Brahmins are being benefited out of it.
Yes, yes.
So suddenly, Bharat Petroleum in India became Brahman Petroleum, and of course, I use that people are being profiting. So everybody went after him, and he would have never expected in his life that he would be so popular amongst 1.4 billion people on this earth.
True.
So he hit the popularity charts, and I think that hashtag Navarro or Navarro Brahmin or something would be trending. And why not? He is a real deserving case. So he didn't stop there, Sree Iyer ji. He went to the extent of saying that the Chinese are vampires. They are sucking blood out of the American economy. He could not use the same term for India. But then he went to the extent of blaming the BRICS countries. So when he said BRICS, India is included. So we all draw inferences that this gentleman is now trying to call Indians the vampires. And to tell you very frankly, India is a rising sun. And the vampires, they should be dreadful of the rising sun. So it is not the Indians who are the vampires. It is Mr. Navarro who should be treated as such, because he cannot stand in front of the rising sun. That is the new India. So Mr. Navarro should be very, very careful when he's trying to say something against this country, the largest democracy, a civilizational nation, And you can say it is the brain of the world. This is what I can sum up with, the Sree.
Thank you so much, Colonel Saab. So let's take a step back. Sudden interest, new love of all things Pakistani for the American president and the party, and a lot of people around that. It's really a joke on the people of Pakistan when somebody loses so badly and still gets anointed as field marshal, and then I think 5 years term or something like that. I see. To me, it seems like this guy has become like Uganda's Idi Amin, some sort of a grandeur of a megalomania kind of thing, and he is now allegedly amassing troops to completely snuff out Baloch. And Baloch are not going to be easy to touch because they are spread over a very large area, and they also know the crevices in and out. Your army is losing 10 to 15 people a day with all the ammunition that you can gather and have, whatever is left after selling to Ukraine and perhaps to even Israel. And so Pakistan suddenly being coveted by US as something that it must have. Maybe it thinks that it's something, it's geographically makes it accessible for the United States to go to control either Iran or China or even India. All true, but this place is about to go, into a free fall. It has been in free fall. It is ripe for, what did you say one time when we talked? First time you talked about chicken laying egg for POK becoming part of India or something like that.
Yeah. So that story was that in India also people felt that we have called it off very soon. We should have marched our troops into the POJK and taken over POJK, which was not the mandate. So just to calm the tempers, I used some analogy, and I said that if in case you have an egg in your hand, if you crush that egg, what will happen? You'll have a lot of muck lying around here. Your hand will smell. A foul smell will be there in the room. But if you let that egg to hatch, the hen sits and it hatches the egg. Just enjoy the process of hatching, and what will happen is after a few days, a beautiful new life will be born. So that is what I wish to convey to every person who wanted the Indian army to march into POJK and liberate POJK from the clutches of Pakistan. Sorry.
So what changed that America suddenly finds that it has to have Pakistan to the extent that it has bribed, that's the only one word I can use, the top army brass, maybe 5 or 6, number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, top 6 journals, and said that, okay, you'll get all these things. And by the way, you can also touch upon this ex-wife of Asim Munir having been given citizenship in US. People are saying yes, people are saying no, and we don't even know how many wives he has. That's another different question. But what really changed on the ground that makes US feel, China has been playing around with Pakistan for 15, 20 years now, right? What is the change now, in your opinion?
CIG, there is not one change. There are a number of things which finally came down to this situation. First thing was, I remember on the 14th of May, I had authored an article on the availability of rare earth elements, which could have been a reason for this. Now, Balochistan and Gilgit-Baltistan are two regions which are rich in rare earth elements. And we were in the month of May when the hostilities were existing. And in the month of November 2024, China has refused to supply rare earth elements to the US.
Yes.
So the US was scrambling for rare earth elements. They had found one mine in Ukraine. Unfortunately, the Russians took over that
overrun
area.
by Russia.
Yeah. So the Russians took it under their control. So now the US was left high and dry. So Mr. Trump was scampering for rare earth elements, and he found some lying in Balochistan and Gilgit-Baltistan. That was my outlook. I may be wrong. If you recall that he claimed the region of Greenland also. So Greenland also is rich in rare earth elements. Denmark was pretty annoyed with that. This is number one factor. Number two factor was that during Operation Sindoor, knowingly or unknowingly, India harmed the interests of the Americans. Why? We maintain that the nuclear assets which were being kept in Pakistan probably were not Pakistani, but were NATO assets. And that is the reason why the Turkish transport aircraft was standing on the tarmac on the 6th of May. When people asked why is it standing there, so they said that it had come for refueling. On the 6th of May. So now what happens is that India carries out a raid on the Pakistani airfields, and unknowingly or mistakenly, we take down the Kirana Hills and the 𝗥𝗙𝗙𝗏 Hills. Now, these two places are reportedly storing nuclear material. This was probably detected by the NATO sensors, and so within 4 hours, there was a plane airborne which detects nuclear radiation, and it took off from the US. Now, Pakistan does not have the diplomatic heft to make a plane fly from the US, which is directly being controlled by Pentagon. Number 2, there was a plane, an IL-76, which takes off from Egypt, an Egypt airplane, which brings boron carbide to Pakistan. Boron carbide, as you know, is for damping of the nuclear radiation. Now, when India takes down these assets, what happens is that these assets, if in case they are American or NATO assets, they will not leave them to be guarded by the Pakistanis. So America will have its own air defense system. And the best known air defense system which the Americans can offer is the Patriot system. So if the Indians have taken down these assets, that means we have failed the Patriot system also. And if that was not enough, 4 F-16s which were airborne were taken down by Indian missiles. 4 F-16 which were standing on the ground were taken down. There was some facility which was existing underground in the Noor Khan Air Base, which was taken down. So there were many factors which led to this reaction which Mr. Trump was showing. Secondly, Mr. Trump had interest in the cryptocurrency trade with Pakistan, because Pakistan had to be kept alive. If Pakistan is out of the radar, what happens? India becomes a mighty power. So they want a power which continuously needles India, so that India does not become so strong that it stands opposite the Americans. So the Americans want India to be strong enough to take on the Chinese, but not that strong which can challenge the might of the Americans. So Pakistan becomes a necessary evil for the Americans. Pakistan is neighboring Afghanistan and Iran, and the US has got interest in both these areas. They want Iran also to survive, because if in case Iran survives, then the entire arms trade in the Middle East survives. There are multi-billion-dollar arms deals which take on between the Americans and the Saudis, the Qataris, the UAE. So everybody is buying arms because Iran is a threat in that region. So Iran and Pakistan become two countries which are really required to be there. If in case these two countries don't exist, then the American trade will fall flat. So you'll see that there was a ceasefire between Israel and Iran also. Why? Because Iran has to survive. You cannot finish Iran. Similarly, Pakistan is also required to survive. So in order for Pakistan to survive, you have to keep the military in the good books. So you call their Chief of Army Staff, General Field Marshal Asim Munir, for a luncheon, which is held behind closed doors. CIRG, there was a Hindi movie by the name of 𝗟𝗏𝗙𝗏, if you recall. And there was a dialogue, 𝗏 के टुकड़ों पर पलने वाली गंदी लड़की. So Asim Munir sold the sovereignty of his country on a morsel which was being offered by President Trump. This is what we Indians, we understand, and we know that for sure. So this happened behind closed doors.
Sir, in that meeting, was there the other Asim also present, the National Security Advisor and ISI chief?
That is a mystery, because Asim Munir was subjected to the parade which was held in the US, and you would have seen what sort of a parade it was. Then he was pulled inside closed doors. I feel that the other Asim wasn't there. This is what I feel. This is my presumption. And why he wasn't there? Because President Trump was very keen for a photograph in which he's standing in the center, Asim Munir onto one side, and Prime Minister Modi onto the other side.
Correct.
This was the photograph that he was really waiting for. And that is the reason why he calls Prime Minister Modi that please come over. And Prime Minister Modi says that I have got a program chalked out. And he flies straight away to Zagreb, Croatia. He does not halt there. So President Trump was trying for this photograph desperately so that this could have at least been a testimonial that he got these two leaders together. And President Modi cannot be compared with Asim Munir. Kaha Raja Bhoj or kaha Gangu Teli. Gangu Teli is also a human being. I don't consider Asim Munir anywhere close to Prime Minister Modi. Pardon me for saying that. But then that's the fact.
There's a song in a movie called Sagina. सूरत है बंदर की लेकिन लगती है अलबेली, and then मेरा गंगू तेली.
देखिए श्री जी, monkeys will get annoyed. Okay, even they don't want to be compared with these characters.
So let's play this thing out. US also now, it tried to create a humanitarian corridor to try and get access to the Myanmar rare earths. And there, I think India went in and they kind of give a real slap to Chinese interests, all those, groups, terrorist groups, everything got snuffed out in one shot.
Yes.
Very, very precision strikes. Again, India is not saying much. The guy who's feeling the heat is probably both US and China.
Nothing happened there. We've already discussed this. Nothing happened there.
It's like they say, right, you punched me in the jaw, and the other guy says, no, your jaw came and punched my hand.
Even the Assam police went out to say that we didn't do anything.
So lots of maneuverings going on, a lot of other things going on. The temperature I thought was subsiding, but Navarro is still on his own trip, and I have a feeling Trump might have told him, if you don't get this thing done with India, you're going to be fired or something like that. Because he's not able to give up. That's how it looks like.
Yes.
Should we take him seriously, or should we just keep eye on the ball, get the deal done? Because there's so many line items to be checked out and make that. In the meantime, this hate Indian thing is taking on a life of its own, and Pakistan is only too happy to oblige with that. They go on their own amplification trip of that. All I keep telling all the viewers who are watching it, I know there is a bit of uncertainty over your heads about H1B, and those who have actually been on H1B, who have actually qualified to get the green card, but you're waiting in another queue. It's like this queue, then you finish that, you go to the next queue, and there is a big time lag in between these two. You still have to keep your job, and then hope and pray that you will still have a job when that queue gets to the front and your time comes up. And when you are when you're going for the green card interview, that you have a current job, not that you have been laid off, because that could be another complication on its own. So lots of uncertainty. I mean, people are, they're also postponing families now. Did you know that, Col Chaubey? People are 45, 48, don't want to have kids because this has become too uncertain. Today, if you apply for a green card, the wait period is 100 years.
100 years.
100 years.
My God.
So why I'm saying all these things is, in what the tier 2, tier 3 cities, they all still have this vision and ambition that their children also get an education in USA, settle down there. That train has kind of left the station. At least till some readjustment happens and a formalized way of agreement takes place. Like, for example, India is going to supply 5 lakh personnel, semi-tech personnel to Japan. I'm sure there's going to be a process wherein everything is streamlined, and government also knows where they are located, and it looks clean, right? And this will probably be replicated in Israel and Taiwan and any other country that might need it. Russia will probably need it once the war stops. And what I'm trying to say is, India is it might not be yet the manufacturing capital of the world, but it is definitely the labor tech semi-tech
services capital.
services capital of the world. That is absolutely non-negotiable there. My question is, how long do you think US will keep trying to do this thing? I mean, talks are going on parallelly. Exercises are going on in parallel.
What I feel is, and I stopped short. I think I had written about this also, where I was seeing Mr. J.D. Vance gracing the White House, or should
Yes,
I say the Oval?
That was published on PGurus. Yes.
Yes. So what I foresee is Mr. J.D. Vance gracing the Oval Office very soon, and Mr. Trump is on leased life. This is what I see. Probably he was given a task and he tried to overdo this task, and people are not very happy with what has transpired. This is my assumption and presumption. So I find that the next incumbent is Mr. J.D. Vance.
So he has been running. He has been running polls where he thought he would win, and he's actually losing that one.
Losing.
So guys, I'm like, what the hell are you trying to do, Peter?
Yeah, this was readers added contest. This was too good.
Yes.
he went on to say that there is a company in the US which is going against the economic interests of the country.
Yes.
So, poor guy.
Well.
He
let's yeah. Let's take a few questions, Colonel Saab. We have a few questions from our viewers, and then we can wrap it up. Magnet Ranga wants to know, Namaste, suddenly the relationship has turned sour. Some of the comments emanating aren't from their own thinking. Is there a possibility that the deep state has started influencing the agenda?
Mr. Magnet Ranga, I made a mention. I gave a timeline. I said that who will be the next incumbent. I think things are pretty clear now, and they appear to be in the open. So yes. I think you have answered your own question.
Next one, please. Thank you, SKS, for becoming YouTube member. Thank you, Srinivas MS. Nothing infuriates a bully more than playing cool and taking them down sarcastically. Bajate raho.
That is what is happening. That is what is happening. The pictures which came from the SCO were really troublesome for Mr. Trump and his party.
Sir, to add insult to injury, today one of the Nobel Peace Committee members has spoken very highly of Modi, and I think he's even hinting that they are considering Modi for the Nobel Peace Prize this year. So everybody is kind of jumping on this and jumping on this bandwagon to try and needle Trump. So he needs to really stay calm at this point of time. Next question, please. JP wants to know, Elon Musk called Navarro a moron who was dumber than a sack of bricks. And I think Elon Musk is right. What do you both say on this?
Sir, you are answering your own question, sir. See, a sane man will never try and take, in Hindi we call it panga. Panga right. With 1.4 billion people. You try and test the patience of 1.4 billion. It's really, the number is staggering, and he would have never dreamt of what is happening to him. This is not that old India that you come and slap us and we'll say, okay, sorry, we'll never do it this time. We feel very sad. Sorry, we are going to give it back. And we have given it back very nicely. So any person who tries to take a panga with the Indians is going to have it nice and proper.
Next question, please. Jagdish Yalapu, thank you so much for your super sticker. And that brings us to a close of today's program. Please like, share, and subscribe to our channel. Thank you so much, Colonel Chaubey ji. And we'll be back again next Tuesday, same time, except that will be in Hindi. Namaskar.
Hindi. Namaskar.